Good morning, everybody. This is Eureka Street Crypto Hub, or you're on Eureka Street Crypto Hub. This is Eureka John, and I'm broadcasting live on YouTube. And it is Sunday, 7:15 in the morning, Leander, Texas time. Leander is just a suburb of Austin, Texas. and it's September 26th, 2021. The month is almost about to come to a close this week, and October will start. So we'll see what happens when this bloody September comes to an end and if things start looking better for the crypto market. Today is another special day. I have a guest that has logged on with me, and his name is Ivan. And Ivan is a fellow member of the BanklessDAO. And the BanklessDAO has provided an amazing place for me to meet a lot of other people in crypto and me to be able to vent and talk to other people that are just as enthusiastic, if not more, than I am about everything that is happening in this space, the development, the DeFi world, the NFT world, layer 2 solutions, and all types of stuff. A lot of jargon and language that a lot of people in the real world don't know about. So whenever you're at work or you're out there at your kid's soccer game or whatever, and you happen to bring up the topic of crypto, or somebody brings it up to you and be like, hey, you're into crypto, right? And then they say, well, what do you think about this SHIB token? Or, hey, man, yeah, what do you think about Hex or XRP? You're just like, well, let's go ahead and get started here. All right. So anyway, I have wanted to introduce you to Ivan. And like I said, he's a fellow BanklessDAO member. And I love bringing people on here on the show and getting their perspective on how they started into space and what type of things that they like and that they're into in the space, because there's all different types of ways to get involved. You can get involved in the NFT space, the DeFi world. You can get involved in infrastructure. You can be a programmer, or you can be a broad content creator like me. You can be into governance and DAO infrastructure. I mean, that's a whole other world. So there are tons of ways to get involved in this space. So Ivan, would you care to chime in and introduce yourself and let us know who you are?
Yes, good morning, and I want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is early here in West Coast time, so I'm glad that we were able to come together today. And like you said, we met at the BanklessDAO. We are both very passionate about crypto, which is awesome, and I'm excited to be here and excited to speak on some of the things crypto, specifically NFTs, which is kind of how I got into it.
Nice. So that's kind of how you fell into your niche. I always wonder, like, what sector of crypto that people end up finding themselves in, and I'm kind of a generalist, but some people, NFTs are a great way for a lot of people who wouldn't be into, I guess, programming per se, to jump into the space and then start from there and understand it. And yeah, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that because I came from the banking world. So I was a manager at a bank, and I had multiple opportunities to jump into Bitcoin because, when there was a big rush, I could have all these wire transfers that I'd be processing into Bitcoin. And every time I saw that, you're because they train you to ask these questions, and every time you ask the question, nobody knew where the money was going to necessarily. So that was a big red flag in the banking world. Uh, so because of that, I never believed in Bitcoin. I never believed in cryptocurrency because I was taught to, by the banks at least, that if you don't know where the money's going and you're buying this thing that is not physical, it's not good. So I missed those opportunities, but it wasn't until last year where I follow a couple of people that are really into crypto, and they started buying NFTs. And I really like art. I really enjoy art. His name is Jonathan Bales. He's a big DFS guy, daily fantasy football player, and he bought this NFT, and he spent like $100,000, in real money, but in crypto, I'm sure it was couple of Bitcoin or ETH. I think he bought it in ETH. And I said, well, this is pretty cool. I'm interested. So I logged into OpenSea, and that's when I started seeing this like massive, just gallery of art that I've never seen before. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And then that's when I started to really get into crypto and say, well, what is this thing? Because now now it's not just Bitcoin, it's this, NFT stuff. What is this stuff? And I started adding all these people that were into NFTs and crypto. And that's when I stumbled upon, I think it was Ryan Sean Adams, who started, somebody followed him and he started posting about Bankless. And I'm like, what is it? What are they talking about? I used to work for a bank. So what does this mean? And when I started reading up about what Bankless meant, I was like, this is awesome, because I came from a typical location, branch location, where not everybody had the opportunity to open a bank account because of their background, because maybe they didn't have a social, and I get it. Banks are regulated, so they need to follow certain KYC standards. So to be able to open an account and have money and really invest, um, you know, in a way that the traditional, banking customer couldn't, that was to me very powerful.
Huh. So, what were some reasons that you had to turn people down for a bank account?
So some of the reasons you turned people down was because either some people come here to work from other countries, whether it's down the border or down from, maybe even India. They come here, to do some computing work for Google or for whoever, and, or China. And if they didn't have all the proper documentation, uh, then we were unable to open an account for them. And they couldn't transact here
Huh.
in the US.
Okay. And then you mentioned that people that had done transactions into the crypto space and like bought Bitcoin and stuff like that, did you have to deny those transactions? I mean, how does that work?
No, we did not deny the transactions because, uh, we go through a list, mental checklist. Well, I've been doing it for such a long time. I was in banking for almost 17 years. So for me, it was a mental checklist.
Yeah.
For somebody that was newer, there was an actual checklist. You want to make sure they know where the money's going to, that they know the person or the company that they're sending it to,
Yeah.
that they know what they're buying, and that what they're buying is not something illegal, right? If they say I'm
Yeah.
going to buy a ton of cocaine, we're going to be like, yeah, well, we can't do that. Um, and we also had to make sure that they understood that we would not be able to retrieve those funds back. So if they sent it out and I was like, oh, never mind, the bank was unable to obtain those funds back from the other institution.
Huh. Okay, because I know that I've tried to use my bank card and ATM card and stuff like that to buy stuff on like Simplex or MoonPay, and I have to call and verify with my bank that yes, indeed, this is a valid transaction. And then I've found that the banks will sometimes blame Visa. Oh, this is not us. This is Visa. You need to. That's their issue, not ours, because it's totally good on our end. And then it's just such a pain in the butt sometimes to onboard crypto into the space. And then once you onboard, you're fine. But yeah, that's just a choke point. And so even though people say they're going bankless, you still have to get through that choke point, and it's difficult.
No, it's very true. And working at a retail branch location where I deal with customers that are living paycheck to paycheck and maybe customers that are wealthy, I see, I guess, the bank's point of view in trying to protect that paycheck to paycheck customer, because they, and we've done this, right? As a society, we've kind of taught people to let the big corporation, kind of take care of you in a way
Uh-huh.
where, uh, if I do a transaction and it was a mistake, I want the corporation to be able to refund me my money, because they're this huge corporation. So that person that's living paycheck to paycheck can't afford to. I'll give you an example. Crypto.com, when I first got into it, it said we accept debit card, but nowhere on there was there a big button that said click on these terms to figure out what's going to happen. Well, I started buying it with my credit card, and I realized that it was being processed as a cash advance.
Hmm.
And a cash advance carries a fee of 24% APR,
Yeah.
or a huge fee of 5% from your bank. So I was like, uh-oh, and this wasn't displayed anywhere on, obvious on crypto.com. And I said, if this was a regular retail customer that didn't know about the crypto space, that would be a big like warning, like, oh, I got duped, or, I
Yeah.
just lost some money. So I get, I get both sides. I definitely do.
Wow. Yeah, I know all about the cash advance stuff. I got this check here in the mail yesterday for $250. Uh, but they put in the very small print that it's going to be like a 35% interest fee, and it's really just my own money that they're sending me
Yes,
a check for on my own
that's
credit line.
correct. Hmm.
So yeah, but the thing is that these paycheck to paycheck people, I mean, they're getting zapped with these NSF fees and stuff like that, and the banks have been kind of abusing those people in a lot of ways, and I'm paycheck to paycheck pretty much, and yeah, I have stuff in the crypto world, but I don't touch that, and I dollar cost average into it, and yeah, I'm paycheck to paycheck, and I get zapped with NSF fees. So there's what was it? I don't know how many billions of dollars that the Bank of America and Chase Bank combined and Wells Fargo have doled out to the average working American.
They do, and I mean, I don't mean to make this more about a bank thing, but I was very passionate about um, leaving the bank just because of the things that you guys are talking about, and the things that I hear on the podcast. That people have gripes about the banks, but for me, the probably the biggest gripe is that the the traditional customer, just like yourself and myself, who are living paycheck to paycheck, who don't have this massive amount of money, we're unable to invest into some of those items that give you high returns. And crypto lets you do that.
Yeah,
And they're trying to regulate that for us, so that we're more quote unquote careful. But you know, I I I love the fact that I can put some money in and see 10x gains.
yeah,
And I don't need to be this huge investor to have the opportunity to get to do that. So
absolutely.
I am not this is not any type of investment advice. I'm just saying, from coming from the banking perspective, what I see there, and what you do in crypto, um, you know there's definitely opportunity, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be an accredited investor, and the accredited investor really means you just have money. You have more than $250,000 in most cases of assets. I don't want to linger too much on this because I know you have a bunch of other stuff you want to show, which I'm ready to get to. But I do have a question. Somebody jumped on. Joey Biden. He says, how do you buy crypto with US dollars without having to use a debit or credit card and without some account with your identifications on it? That's a good question. That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
That
How do
is
you
a
get
great
around
question.
KYC? I mean, do you know of any way? I, I
I, I, I mean, everything that I've done has been through, because I started with Coinbase, and Coinbase is basically that middle between a bank and like a big crypto. So
yeah.
I I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's I've even heard the Bankless HQ guys be asked this question, and they said, well, that is one of the major choke points. You have to get through that gate in order to get to the crypto world. Now there are other ways around it. You can use Bisq to buy, or Monero. They have these can't remember what the name of it. It's called getmonero.com or .org, and you can do by mail, sending cash, and then they will transfer you. I mean, but it's all pretty shady, and it's a little nerve wracking and stuff like that. Um, so it's your risk tolerance and whatever you're comfortable with, and how far of an extent do you want to go to not have any type of crypto transaction on your record or your history. And just for those of you who don't know, KYC means know your customer, and then AML means money laundering. And those are the processes that you have to go through in order to get to the crypto world. And in some way, shape, or form, you're gonna have to do it at least once. And hopefully by the time that all all this really gets rolling, I mean, well, not hopefully, but I mean, the dollar will probably be pretty much worthless, and we'll be doing all our assets and transactions in crypto anyway. So,
What major currency do you see cryptocurrency taking on that type of usage?
I mean, everybody seems to have their own tribes, right? I think people say, well, Bitcoin is the best. And I think Bitcoin's a great store of value. I don't think it's going anywhere, but Ethereum is the operating system, and on top, something on top of Ethereum, I think, will probably be the transactional currency, and then Ethereum is going to be the base layer of all smart contracts and programmable money. Um, it's just my opinion. What about you?
I'm the same. I think Ethereum is the one that's going to have some currency. I tell myself, I kick myself when I see the Doges and the Shibas and all these things go up, and I'm like, I should have just put some money in there, but I don't believe in those, and it's
Yeah.
very difficult for me to put some money in there.
Yeah, it's there's speculation, and then there's which is day trading and all that stuff, and then there's dollar cost averaging, which is believing in Web 3.0 and blockchain 3.0 technology and the way that everything is going, as far as digitization. And I believe in the latter, as far as Web
Mhm.
3.0. Yeah. So anyway, to switch gears a little bit, I know that you're really into NFTs, and you you said you have some stuff up on OpenSea.
Yeah, I have a couple items on OpenSea that are pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to see that and to see what you're passionate about in this space, and hear a little more about why you got into NFTs and stuff you're creating and where you see it going.
Cool. Let me see. Let me show you what I got here on OpenSea. Hopefully it didn't log me out. It did not. Cool. So here I have a couple of NFTs. Most recent one was probably this Canine
Oh,
Cartel,
cool.
which is it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the NFTs that I buy, I like. Uh, a lot of people a lot of people right now are trying to buy and flip, and that's just
Hey,
not
you
me.
got you have the Bankless
I
Nation map.
I do. I really like this one, which is why I bought two. I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy two of those. I really like that one. Maybe somebody wants to buy it and I can keep one.
I could see that being
Um,
worth quite a bit in the future as far as speculation is
Seriously.
concerned.
And then Deadheads was probably the first NFT that I bought in this like new bull market where everybody started buying these 10,000 projects,
Mm-hmm.
10 to 15,000 projects. So they're doing a pretty good job. Uh, and then Bulls on the Block, I just really like
Yeah.
the concept. The reason I bought it was because I thought they were saying that they were bullish on just the blockchain, but it's definitely meant it means something different,
Looks a
which
little
is
Ren and Stimpy-ish. You know that
it
horse?
does.
No, sir, I don't like it.
And then I got a couple ENS. And then my first NFT ever was this one right here. Um, and I really like the artwork and the concept. Actually, reached out to the artist on Twitter, and we started talking. And he's actually from Chelyabinsk,
From where?
um, Chelyabinsk, which is somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Huh.
Um, and he was really, really gracious, really, really nice. Uh, and he's out of the NFT space now, mainly because of these 10,000 artworks. He says, he can't compete with that. He's a one of one type of artist, and there's just so much competition right now. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm most proud of this one just because it's my first one that I ever bought, and it was my way into the actual crypto world. Just because at the time I paid 0.75 ETH. I think ETH was like 2,200 at that time or whatever, and this was my first major purchase of something, anything,
Yeah.
in ETH. So it just meant a lot to me that I was able to make that purchase.
So he ducked out of the space because he was feeling a little threatened by competition, but that's so good.
Yeah, you know what? And at first, when I was reading it, I thought maybe he was just, it was more like a post to get more people to buy his stuff. But no, he's been out of Twitter for, like 3 months now, and I still communicate with him here and there. But he had a couple of works that went for like 4 or 5 ETH,
Uh-huh.
um, and then he just, he stopped creating. So and that is one thing about artists that you'll find on, in this space here when they're not like a big known artist like Ripple. Um, you know, they're very, I don't know if I'm using the right term, but fragile as it relates to competition and to their art, and just having that consistency to put out content in this, in their own artwork. It gets difficult.
Yeah, a lot of artists aren't competitive, which is why they're artists. And yeah, I can see whenever artists a lot of times want to go against the grain of what everybody else is doing, and then when they put their stuff out there, then they see everybody else is jumping in there, then it's kind of turning into a monetary competition, and they're just like, nah, no thanks, I'm out of here, so
Yeah, you're 100% correct on that.
I like this one with the train, with the universe and the galaxies and the space coming up out of the smoke.
Yeah, you know what? I bought that one. As this is like one of the most recent one of one pieces that I bought. And the main reason I bought it is because I was looking at it, I thought it looked nice, but my kids looked at it and they said, "Oh, that looks like the Harry Potter train." And I was like, "You know what? It kind of does, doesn't it?" So then I ended up buying it.
It's amazing
And
how
this is,
pop culture is infused in their minds.
oh my God, it is. It is. It's unstoppable.
Yeah. So, OpenSea is kind of one of these places that anybody can just throw their stuff on there. Have you looked into any of the more curated type of NFT marketplaces?
I have actually, more curated like foundation or
Yeah,
Rarible.
where they pick and choose what's displayed on their site. It's not just OpenSea for anybody and everybody. It's these people picking and showcasing specific
Mhm.
artists and stuff like that. Does that kind of defeat the whole idea of decentralization of art and no gatekeepers?
It does because, in order for you to sell on like foundation, for example, where I got my first one, you have to be shilled by other artists. So, I think you need a couple artists to shill you before you can be on there.
Mm,
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many artists. I don't know if it's 100 or 10. I'm sure it's not that many. So it's still very centralized in a way, right?
yeah.
Um, so it's a little unfortunate because Rarible, I think, is one of the ones that has the best, I guess, reps, and it's very difficult to get to Rarible. But
Hmm.
when you're on there, you get to, your artwork sells really well. But again, we go back to the centralized piece of it.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah, and I guess that kind of begs the question of identity on the blockchain as well. And yeah, it's reputation systems. MetaMask and the blockchain is supposed to be very decentralized, anonymous. Anybody can create themselves on there. If you've listened to any of the recent Bankless Metaverse style podcasts, they talk about that. You can be whoever you want, and but there's still some signals of status, wealth, and virtue that are being transposed over to the metaverse, and this can be seen through NFTs.
There is, I follow a couple of I think I was mentioning I got into it because there was some DFS player, Jonathan Bales. He actually bought, he bought a CryptoPunk. It wasn't just him; it was a group of guys, and they spent like almost 200,000 on this CryptoPunk thing. And I said, like, man, if there's anything that I'd want, I wouldn't want, like a Ferrari or anything like that. I want probably my own crypto fund.
Really?
So
So
yeah.
what is DFS? I've heard you say that a couple times. I'm sorry.
DFS is daily fantasy football, but it could be anything. It could be daily fantasy golf, basketball, football.
Okay, all
Um,
right. But purely an online relationship?
yeah, online. He's uh, Twitter. I don't really communicate with him. He has his followers. I just read his articles and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's weird. It's something that has developed in this past few years is this whole online relationship with people and this online connection and this online, I guess, I don't know. I find myself in the real world driving down the freeway or whatever, and I'm thinking about these people that I only know online as an avatar and as some kind of handle. like people on, in the Bankless DAO, Liquidia, for instance, I don't know him from Adam, but I know his avatar and I know his handle Liquidiate. And I like the guy, and it's weird to think that you think about people that in a way aren't real, but they are real. I don't know.
yeah. And I was thinking about that a couple weeks back when we first connected, and I said to myself, man. Um, it's pretty crazy that I'm finding more community with people online than I do, within my radius here at home.
Hmm.
And I said, how is this going to evolve? Like what's the equivalent to when you used to, when you meet somebody, a friend, and you said, hey, why don't we go out to lunch? Like, what's the equivalent to that in the online world?
Yeah.
Is it like having one of these like virtual meetings? I don't know.
I mean, we're
Pretty
pretty much
interesting.
having coffee, or my equivalent of coffee. We're having breakfast together, It's funny. I mean, I come from a churchy background and stuff, but all the men have men's breakfast, and I'm like, why do men not have to have breakfast together? Like, they can't.
I know. I've seen a couple of your streams, so I see you have your Chiquita banana.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I saved this for my kids. They eat my banana and stick it there so I don't forget it.
oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, and this whole idea, the thing is I think about these people in lockdown and all around the world, and these people becoming very lonely, suicidal, depressed because of all this stuff that's happening. And this metaverse, this crypto community, Discord groups, DAOs have all become a way to form relationships and bond together. I don't know if that's some kind of large overarching conspiracy to get people corralled into the metaverse as a whole, if you want to think about it from a dystopian matrix aspect in which we're all getting plugged into our batteries, or if it's a kind of a great coping mechanism in order for people to be able to find community within the confines of their own homes and fight this depression. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. That I have to agree with that. I think we're trying to find we're not we're trying, but we're finding new ways to communicate and to be a part of a community. And I think, sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. We're,
Yeah, all
we're
right.
trying to find new ways to find community, and I think the metaverse is one of the ways that we're doing it. And it's so interesting when I'm on Twitter and somebody sees my avatar and they comment on the avatar, and then we start up a conversation about how I got this and where it came from, and then we're like, oh, you're into crypto also, and so it's very interesting. I personally really enjoy being a part of this thing that is still very new and nobody has really figured it out yet.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that piece of it.
Joey Biden here on the stream is commenting NFT avatars are sock puppets, confirmed. in, in a way, it's kind of like talking to yourself, and it becomes its own living being.
That's right.
Yeah, in a way, though, crypto is kind of it's amazing because it's a lot of people just think about it as like this, MLM or Ponzi scheme or only about finance, only about speculation, but it's transcended well beyond all that, especially when you take the whole community aspect into play. DAOs, things like this, having a morning breakfast, talking to people, and yeah. I don't know.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
One thing that I have been thinking about was right now there's a lot of NFT projects that are going quote unquote belly up, where a lot of people, bought these and now the community or whatever is not as active. And I think to myself, we're quote unquote telling people that these communities are dead, but we don't even know what that means yet.
Yeah.
We're so new into the NFT space that I don't think that exists yet. I think if you're a holder of, let's say, an image like mine, and you have other people that are the same, and we keep communicating, the NFT project is not necessarily dead. It's still there. It's still in the blockchain, and we're still having community, and we still enjoy this artwork, or there's just this reason that we got together.
Yeah.
And I see a bigger opportunity in the NFT market or the NFT space when there's this humongous group of people that have come together to buy these individual pieces, and they've
Hmm.
created this Discord. Um, I don't know. I see it as um, a new form of marketing. You've already corralled these 3 or 4 or 5,000 people. Now you just have to sell them something. So I don't know. I'm looking at it from a commerce standpoint also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was just looking on before I got on here and I saw something pop up on my thread. Uh, I believe it's from Wired. No, not Wired. It's from some magazine. It talked about some Dolce and Gabbana outfit going for several ETH, and it was ridiculous. And it's a Metaverse avatar's outfit made by Dolce and Gabbana, and I don't know how many ETH it was going for, but it was well over 5 ETH. And
whoa,
yeah, and people are spending money on that, and it's this whole yeah, it's this whole new culture being developed, and we're taking away gender and race and all that stuff, and we're replacing it with some kind of monetary value, virtual signal. I don't know. But I mean, aside from art, I mean, this the whole tokenization of assets being built on NFTs, and that's when I first really the whole value of NFTs started clicking with me. Once I started seeing it going beyond art, and yeah, it's only the beginning, and art is just the diving board, I think.
it is. I was also thinking because I'm a part of a couple of discords like the Bulls on the Block or Deadheads, two kind of big projects, and a lot of the people that are in there that bought into this project don't really understand crypto that much. They understand the NFTs more. And I thought to myself, man, it would be great to be able to present some type of bankless style, connection between these people that don't know much about crypto, and then the bankless who are trying to get more people into actual crypto, where it's not just finance, it's not just NFTs. It's a combination of everything, and just be able to teach some of these people that are they're only in it because of the NFTs, but it's more than just NFTs. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about tokenization. You're talking about being able to do DeFi, and a lot of these people don't do that yet, and there's so much out there to
Yeah.
do. So
Well, I think about the whole World Economic Forum statement: "You will own nothing and you will be happy." I mean, as much as I can't stand the World Economic Forum and all this whole vision towards that stuff, I do see what they mean when it comes to proof of stake and us being stakeholders rather than shareholders, and
mhm.
how NFTs can play into that, and us owning tokenized assets and stuff like that. And that's how it kind of makes sense to me in that aspect.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do. I think it was Crypto Bushi that said, or maybe it was Frogmonkey that said that he's hoping to buy his house one of these days with his NFT collection. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I, I'm saying the same thing, but for college, for my kids' college.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can
Can I
afford
pay?
my kids' college with all these NFTs.
Yeah. Ask, for instance, University of Texas, do you take CryptoPunk? Yeah. Oh well, we're going on 35 minutes. I try to keep these at 30 minutes, but you do make videos on YouTube. I want to give you a chance to pitch your channel, and to say anything about how to connect with you online. So
Yes, I do make some YouTube videos. I am going to revamp my videos. But if you're looking for me on like Twitter, it's Ivan75 at Ivan7538. Um, and my YouTube, uh, you can also find my YouTube channel there on the links on the Twitter thread. But I mostly talk about NFTs and brief explainers on what crypto is to some of those people that are newer.
Right on. Yeah, and I've seen your videos, and they're good. And I probably learn some video editing stuff from you in that aspect, and how to keep things short, so, which I'm not good at. All right, so yeah, Joey Biden says he loved this episode. Cheers. Cheers to you, Joey Biden,
Awesome.
and
Thank
thanks for
you.
jumping on.
Thank you, Joey Biden, for
Yeah.
coming on, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and I will be posting this on YouTube, on BitChute, on Odyssey, and I will put Ivan's YouTube channel link and Twitter handle link in the video description. Give it a thumbs up just to help it. I guess that helps the algorithm or something like that on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not really a rankings and stats focused guy in that way. So, but hey, it helps. All right, so yeah, thanks again, Ivan, for jumping on. I always love these interviews. I really look forward to them because it just always goes in an unexpected turn, and organic conversation it's my bag, baby.
Thank you very much for having me on, and I appreciate us working together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you in the DAO.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye. Okay, that was a great interview, and yeah, uh, I'm gonna sign off. But yeah, thanks for jumping on, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow for the Monday show. Bye.